Recording from the One More Pour studio, where every pour comes with a story. This is the Dram Amateur Podcast. And here's your host, Jason.
All right, welcome back to the Dram Amateur Podcast, the show where we explore the stories, spirits, and sips that make the world of whiskey, bourbon, rum, tequila, and mezcal so exciting. I'm your host, Jason, and I'm thrilled to have you here for another pour of a great conversation. Before we dive in, don't forget to connect with me on Instagram at Dram_Amateur, as well as YouTube and Facebook under the Dram Amateur Podcast to stay in the loop with exclusive content and updates. Whether you're a seasoned enthusiast or just starting your journey into the world of fine spirits, this is your spot to sip, learn, and share. So pour yourself something good, get comfortable, and let's kick off another unforgettable episode of the Dram Amateur Podcast. And ladies and gentlemen, he's back. Tonight's guest is someone who doesn't just review bottles, he documents them. Mike from Whiskey Morgue approaches whiskey like a crime scene and a confession all at once. Every pour comes with atmosphere, memory, and a little darkness around the edges. Instead of chasing hype, he chases feeling. Why a bottle mattered, when it showed up in your life, and what it still says long after the glass is empty. Tonight, we're stepping away from specs and scores and digging into personal stories behind the bottles. The moments, the places, and the reason these pours still echo in our lives. So grab a glass and settle in. This one's about memory, meaning, and the stories we leave behind in the bottle. Mike, welcome to the Dram Amateur Podcast. How are you?
Jason, I'm much better now that I'm doing this. If you're listening, I have a little bit more of a raspier voice. Maybe it works in my advantage. Maybe this is more of my radio voice. But yeah, man, I'm super excited to be back. I've been waiting since we did that first episode. And when you pitched this idea, even though I accidentally kind of changed it up on you, I was super excited. And yeah, man, your intro there, everything you said about the importance of the bottle and the story just completely encapsulates how I feel about whiskey, man.
No, I appreciate it. No, and thanks for coming back on. I've talked about it in my last episode. I said, I've really got to be purposeful in 2026. Like, I want to have people back on. I still want to do what I'm doing to connect with people in the community, but I want to really kind of be creative. Right. And I pitched an idea to you and you twisted it, which I liked, because now I have another idea that you and I can go back into in a future episode, which is fantastic. But yeah, I really want to, you guys are the community, right? So I want to have you guys back on and really enjoy spending time with you and really challenge ourselves to have something creative and do something fun and see how the audience likes it. So thanks for being a good sport and coming on and doing this with me. I appreciate it.
No, of course. And I'm in the same boat. Like, I think it's fun to do some cool new interviews, but I find it kind of doing the podcasting myself on my upcoming season here. I'm circling back to a lot of familiar people. The first time around, it's like you do a bit of intro, and now we can just have some fun and be creative, like you said, which is awesome.
Yeah, it definitely. So you mentioned your podcast. I want to give you a little bit of time just to talk about what you've been up to. I can't keep up. I'm trying to keep up. I've listened to the Filmland Spirits one, which was really great. Those guys seem awesome. They were a lot of fun to listen to. You've done a lot of other things recently too. Tell everybody about kind of what you've been up to over the last month or so.
I'm mostly trying to recharge, and then I kind of went on unintended little break over the holidays. I kind of put out like one episode that was more Christmas centric, and then I just been recording a whole bunch for, I guess, second half of season 2. A lot of really interesting people, again, some familiar faces popping back up, but I'm excited where it's headed in terms of like both whiskey and film, and getting some really cool people on there. And yeah, other than that, just been trying to do more video content. I think like maybe what you're referring to is the In Search of Darkness review YouTube video that I put out there. They messaged me and they said, do you want to watch a 6.5 hour documentary and on horror from 95 to 99? I said, absolutely. and in 5 days turn around a video review. So that's what I've been up to. But yeah, man, I'm excited, and it's nice to take a break from that and then just jump on here as a guest and get to hang out and have a few drinks with you.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I appreciate you coming on. Yeah, it's fun because now, like, I always used to watch YouTube on my TV, like my personal channel stuff, but now I have the podcast channel too. So I get to follow all you guys and be on there, and I'll go in and click and watch stuff. And my wife's like, who's that? I'm like, that's Mike. I'm like, Mike does cool shit. I'm like, look at his Instagram page. She's like, oh, that's dope. I'm like, right. And she's like, he does the same thing every time with just a different horror movie in a bottle. I'm like, yeah. She's like, dude, that's cool. And I'm like, see, I'm like, she's like, you guys are all little artists. She's like, you guys all have your like little way of doing things. And she's like, it's really cool to see all your similarities, but you're so different as well. And you all bring something to the space. So she's like, you guys are dope, man. She's like, it's cool as hell.
First of all, thank you, Jason's wife, for being so kind. But I think it's true. And I think a compliment like that is held to like a higher regard for me, because that's someone from the outside kind of looking in. I think it's easy for us to, we all kind of like root each other on, and we're just having fun and enjoying our whiskey and whatever else. But it's always nice when someone from the outside sees what you're doing and is like, wow, like that's a really cool concept, or, it's creative. So yeah, that's really motivating.
Yeah, it's cool. It's fun. We have a good time, and she knows you guys are all amazing. I talk about you guys all the time, so she was stoked about it. So, let's talk about what I'm drinking. So, and you drinking too, which I will have to see here in a minute. But I reached into the back of the shelf. I don't know why it's in the back, but it was. I went with a Bardstown Discovery Series 6 because Bardstown just recently this week, when we're recording, sent out bottles to a lot of people with the new label on them. So it's pretty controversial from what I'm seeing on the internet.
Very, very, very polarizing.
There is no in between, right? There's no like in the middle. You're either I love it or hell no, go back to the old way. I will be honest. I love these labels. This is the old one. Oh, see, I already knew I'm going to hit this mic. My face is going to be everywhere. I'm going to screw this up. So Mike's my first podcast really in the studio while I'm drinking. So this is going to be fun. This is like the heavy top too, the old heavy tops on these things. So this is one of the good bottles. So so this is the 6 that has the 11-year Kentucky, 17-year Tennessee, and then the 7-year Indiana. So that's what I'm going to drink tonight, because my bottles I'm going to share with you are not open, nor am I going to open them yet sometime soon.
I think I've only gone as far back as 9 in the Discovery series.
Oh, really?
But yeah, I hear great things about some of the earlier releases, and it's cool to see the evolution, even though we got a curveball this past year with the finishing, which was still a fun one. But the labeling was just a quickly touch on that. My hot take is that I do like the old labeling better.
Yep.
But I get from a like a business standpoint where, it's easy for us to be excited about, like fine print and words, but like to the average consumer, like what is Origin series? And, even at one point I was like, wait, you have a wheat whiskey, but the bottled and bond is a wheat whiskey too, which is interesting. But I get it in terms of business and just like streamlining. And I also think that they're really trying to differentiate the higher end products. I think we're still going to get the silhouette. I love the silhouette in the back. Like that was the hardest thing to let go of, that tree in the back, at least for the bottled and bond. But yeah, so it's kind of like, I like the older one, but I get as a business move. Now, if you do that to our limited releases, I might be a little bit upset.
Yeah, when I first saw it, Whiskey Fly posted it when I first saw it. Yeah, and I looked at it and I was like, oh, all right, that's pretty dope. I don't mind that. And then somebody posted a side by side of all of them. I'm like, oh no, I don't like this at all anymore. I'm like, oh,
there was a lot of like comparing it to Hudson whiskey, and a lot of people were saying Kirkland.
I mean, again, like you said, I understand why they did it. I do miss the silhouette too. Like I have a Pfeiffer Pavitt from the very first release. I found one of those. I have for the first release of The Prisoner. So like that, like the picture in the back is really cool. Yeah. And this one's got the corn on the back too. I think it's corn, or is it a tree? Is that a tree? Corn? Looks like corn. I think it's corn. So yeah, it's
my guess is that they really are going to keep that for the elevated products, because that way they pop more. It's like the limited release, you get the special. I have like the Pursuit Bourbon Pursuit did a collab with them. It was like really limited, and I have the Pursuit microphone
Oh,
silhouette in the
cool.
background. Yeah, and it's cool. I love that concept and how it's customized. But I could see as like a regular shelf product. I mean, and like I said, it's easy to be picky, but you're getting like 6-year bottled and bond, and it's like $45.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah,
Fantastic.
it's okay. We're all good.
It doesn't matter sometimes at the end of the day what the label looks like. It's the stuff that's inside that really matters. And
Yeah.
I think you're right too. For the average consumer, right? The whiskey nerds like us, like we're gonna miss it. But your people that are going and shopping, a lot of people talked about it on a bar, right? It stands out now in a bar. You're not trying to read small print from a mile away.
Yeah.
So it might drive a little traction for them. And at the same time, too, who the hell are we to tell a whole marketing team who probably has billions of dollars in research in this stuff? What's the best route to go?
I know. And when people were trying to like poke fun at it with the Costco comparison in Kirkland, I was like, yeah, but Kirkland moves products and they're known for putting out quality with like a no frills approach. And I was like, so maybe the Kirkland approach is going to align their pockets more, and good for them. Like,
Yep. They're doing big things, so you can't complain about that. What are you drinking? Besides water, because Mike's so for everybody, if you hear Mike clear his throat or cough in the background, he has not been feeling well. So please be kind to Mike over the next hour.
You'll probably hear me progressively get better throughout the show as I drink my medicine. Yeah. So first one I'm going to go up with, just because how you set the tone, is I'm going to do a Michter's barrel strength rye.
Very cool.
I'll pour some of that out. Yeah. So for me, it's a special bottle because I first tried it at a whiskey show, and whiskey shows, it's easy to get lost in the million pours that you get to do. And what's crazy was that night I got to try Michter's 20, and I would have thought that, like, cheers. Cheers. Let me have a sip before I talk anymore. Let me line my throat with
you got to coat it with that oily goodness.
Boom. My voice is clear. Here we go. I tried Michter's 20 and I thought, oh, this is going to be the highlight of the night. And don't get me wrong, it's phenomenal. But I kept coming back to this barrel strength rye. And where I am, I couldn't find it. And I was like, well, cool. Like, I got to drink it a bunch that night. And it was like the one that I repeated. And that's how I know if I'm at like a festival or show, if I kind of go back a second, third time, then it must stand out. I had a friend who didn't have a whiskey account at the time. He's now Whiskey Mirage, Josh. And we were chatting one day, and I think I had mentioned it earlier in just like that I was at a whiskey show. Like, this is, like I say earlier, but like months earlier. So he sends me a picture of a couple bottles of the Michter's rye cask strength. And I was like, oh, cool. Like, you found it at a store. And he's like, yeah, like one's coming your way. And yeah, like, what? Like, okay, great. And he was like, just hearing you talk about it and how inspired you were, it obviously, you get to try a lot of stuff. Obviously it stood out to you. Now, the other funny part was they mislabeled it for the regular rye. So they had it on the shelf for like 65, I believe. So he scooped a couple bottles and he sent one my way, but I figured it's a great pour to kind of kick off what we're talking about, because is it kind of a limited release? Yeah. Is it hard to find sometimes? But it's not even that. It's just that now it's representative of what this community means to me. And it's like, now Josh is a great friend of mine. Like, we message daily and we talk life and we talk family and other passions. He's a big horror guy too, but I'm like, that's the beauty of it. And I think like the premise of what we're doing here is like, there's a ton of great whiskey, but it's those connections, like being able to connect with you through whiskey in the show is what is most important to me. So it's kind of cool how this one gesture turned into, someone who's going to be a lifelong friend, even though we haven't got together in person yet. But this year, 2026 is we're planning things. So finally, we won't just be text buddies and pen pals. We're gonna hang out and drink some whiskey together.
That's dope, dude. That's awesome. Yeah, the meeting each other is the hard part, right? It's like there's so many people we connect with. I keep telling, like, I see Kyle Nerds and Burbs a little bit here and there. And I've met John and Mr. Given a few times. I'm like, guys, when can we get just together and like go to like 13th Colony, or when can we go to like Big Creek up in Delana? Like, when can we just get together and do something? So yeah, it's cool that we were able to do that. People's lives just are so busy with families and everything. It's really hard to do. It's not easy.
Yeah, it like I have friends who are close by who are like, hey, can I see like the friends I grew up with, like lifelong friends who are like 20 minutes away, and kind of navigate it. But that's why I can see why a lot of people go to like Kentucky Bourbon Fest, and or like I think you got to plan like a big, like even if it's like a 3-day getaway, like we're all going to meet, we're going to do a couple distilleries, have a good time. I think that's the best way to finally carve it in there. But I said, like, my daughter now is 4, so she's not a baby. Life's a bit easier. We sleep more. We have a few people around to babysit. So I think like this year I plan on doing a lot more. I want to be able to like hang out with people in person for once. I've been doing this online thing for too long.
That's cool though. No, it's awesome. Yeah, I mean, you're thinking the same way I am. Like I was talking to John the other day, and I told him, Mr. Given, I told him, I'm like, hey man, I'm like, I got an Osmo Mobile 8 now, and I can have my phone on, and I got the DJI mics. We can go to a couple we can go to distillery. Longleaf isn't making. We can go to Longleaf. We can go hit a couple stores out. We can make some video. He's like, that sounds awesome, dude. He's like, we should totally do that. So there'll probably be content coming in at some point with that stuff. But yeah, it's for us that everything's online. I think that is a really cool and unique experience, right? You build that relationship, that friendship with somebody, you do it over something you have a lot in common, right? And then being able to sit down and go hang out for a little bit, I think that's just going to help to connect you guys even more and really even solidify what you've already built.
Absolutely. And I think, and again, it's forging those friendships that's what drives everything here. Like I said, I do content, and I find that like, maybe when I first got into it, you post a bottle that's rare and that would be easy enough to like draw people in. I think right now people are looking for more authenticity and connection and stories, which is why we're doing this episode. So for you, Jason, is the Bardstown your first pick?
No, it's not. I have two other ones because
that's just your sipper. Okay.
I don't have the two open because one of them there's a value reason, and you'll laugh when you see it. But the other one, there's a little bit more of a sentimental reason with it. So, so one question for you before I dive into mine though. So you got to try Michter's 20.
Yeah.
Hot damn, dude.
I'll give you a good story about it too. So, it was fairly, so there was a whiskey festival, and then to get the upgrade and do the Michter's tasting, it was an extra like $50, and you got to taste Baumburger, Shanks. Baumburger, Shanks, Michter's 20. There was like 5
for $50.
Yeah, so it's like $10. Can't even go to the bar and get for $50. You can't get Michter's 20. So it was a no-brainer. But what's cool is I got to meet John, and John, at the time he was like their I think like their international ambassador. I think his roles have shifted a bit. But really cool guy, funny guy. And so we hit it off, and we're talking music. He loves Rage Against the Machine. We're chatting. And then after like the tasting, it's the festival, because they did it kind of beforehand, and then everyone has their booths. So I'm over there, I'm chatting with him, and he's like, come over here. He's like, let's take a picture together. Let's pour something for the picture. I said, okay. So he goes under the table, has another Michter's 20, and he's pouring it now in like a side, like solo cup. So I'm like here drinking Michter's 20 out of a red solo cup. But if we're talking about stories or even my affinity for Michter's, it's like, yeah, okay, cool. I got to try Michter's 20, but it was phenomenal. And yeah, it's probably one of the better whiskeys I've tried, but it's the stories attached to it, and like drinking it under the table with like a friend you just met who you kind of hit it off with in the industry, and just having a good time. And my other friend was like, hey, what were you guys sipping on over there? So I bring him over, and John's like, yeah, here, I'll give you a little splash of Michter's 20. I'm like, okay, we're just all casually
pouring Michter's 20.
Yeah.
Lord. I mean, I would put that above like Pappy 15 for crying out loud. I mean, even Pappy 20, like I'd rather have a Michter's 20 than even like any of the Pappies, to be honest with you.
Yeah. And I've had the was it the 20, the Pappy 20?
Okay.
And I did like the Michter's better.
I would imagine.
So yeah, that the Michter's was
That's dope.
yeah.
That's a cool experience for sure. That's awesome. All right, my first bottle is not opened. I can't.
So you're going hard tonight. You're like cracking two. One's valuable, one's sentimental. I'm
not cracking either of them. At some point, I could actually.
That's why you have.
That's
why you have the sipper. I was like,
yes.
Jason, like you don't have. I was gonna say you don't have to do it for the show.
I thought about it, but then like, and again, you'll laugh. I've had this first bottle for probably 4 or 5 years now, and I haven't even cracked it. The other one I've had for even longer. But so you mentioned community. So my first one is going to be more about my hometown. And it's funny, when I was growing up, so I grew up in a small town in Western Massachusetts, big Portuguese community, huge Portuguese community, probably 50% of the community. I visited, you're in the Toronto area. I visited Toronto to even visit some of their family members on like long weekend trips with that. So that culture has always been kind of with me. I used to work at a small grocery store. Small town USA. So I'm probably talking back in the day, 12 to 15,000, maybe if even that. My graduating class was 172 kids. It was, I worked at the grocery store in town. It snowed all the time. We did everything, like a small community. So we used to, on my way to work where I used to live, we used to pass a liquor store, and the liquor store was named Pop and Cork. So I moved from Massachusetts back when I was 21. I didn't get into this stuff until I was in my 30s. So I went back up there to visit my friend on a long weekend and visit family and friends and friends of friends' family, and you name it. Like, we went and saw everybody. And I spent the day whiskey hunting in Western Massachusetts, which I hadn't really done before. I think we hit up, I don't know, what do we hit up? Like 10 stores, 11 stores. I didn't really do it justice. I could have probably done a lot more as well. But at the time, I was big into Penelope. So I'll show the bottle. So the old Penelope Toasted Series ones, I was really big into these. So we went all day long hunting around in different towns. And we stopped at Pop and Cork last because we were doing something in my old town. We hit all the surrounding towns around it. And I'm like, man, I haven't been to Pop and Cork in a long time. My mom and dad used to go into the beer cooler and get 24 packs of beer. And back in the day, as a kid, we used to carry the beer cases out. They didn't mind, right? So here I am as a 9-year-old kid carrying a 24 pack of like Labatt's or Molson or something like that out of the beer cooler and over to my parents' car. So Pop and Cork was always in like our like family dynamic. It was always on the way back home. It was right next to the pizza place we used to go to all the time, South Pizza. So it's pretty cool. So I walked in and didn't know what to expect, right? And lo and behold, there is a store pick of Penelope. It even says selected by Pop and Cork on the label. And it was one of the char and toast that I hadn't had yet. So this is a char 3 heavy toast. My favorite's a char 5 heavy toast. But this is a 4 to 5 years MGP that they used to do like that. So it's a bottle that, yes, I could crack, but there's a little bit of sentimental stuff to it. So I'll crack it eventually, but definitely something that reminds me of home. It reminds me of all my family, my friends. It brings back good memories of me going and carrying out 24 packs of beer at 9 years old for my parents. It's pretty cool. So it's a good memory of back home.
I love that. And you know what? Like I had a few of those Penelope bottles myself, and I mean, they're delicious. But what's cool is like Penelope were one of the first brands to like, even before I had the podcast, we did a live together.
Oh, cool.
I got to know those guys. So you pulling out that bottle kind of like brought up a lot of feelings for me too. Just because it's the older label. And now I look at, Penelope got acquired and they're huge, but there's something like, kind of to your story. Like it feels like kind of like a very small town home. Because like, I remember the first bottle I got just like that. And it's interesting because it's not, like we said, that's not Pappy, that's not BTAC, or Michter's 20. It's a Penelope Toasted expression, but it's that store and those core memories that make that bottle mean so much more. And I think that's a really, really cool choice.
No, I appreciate that. Yeah, it's cool. I mean, I still have so many of those bottles. I have so many open, so many unopened. I think I have like 8 to 12 of those in different toast, because I was trying to get every toast and every char combo I
Oh,
probably
nice.
possibly could. I got quite a few of them. I don't know how many I have anymore, but yeah, that's just one that like I remember finding it. Like I immediately got back to my friend's house and took a picture of it. And it was just like I said, it just every time you see it, it just gives you that little piece of home that sometimes you need. I mean, I could tell you like all the stuff, all the homes around the place. I could tell you the whole lay of the land. Like it's just it just brings back, like you said, every ounce of memory from that community and that time there. So very, very special to me to have that and to remember all the good times growing up as a kid.
Well, just for fun to piggyback off that. So, one in the horror side of things, one of the In Search of Darkness documentary that I mentioned, they've done different installments. So before I started doing this, I watched the documentary and was enthralled with like the deep dive, but I'm seeing all these people in the industry, like in the doc, talking about this movie and that movie. And one person in particular, Ben Scrivens, out of Rochester, he does Fright Rags merch. I was gonna wear it tonight, and then I was kind of running late, but like here, I'll just pop it here. But it's my, I mean, I have over like 20 Fright Rag shirts, but this is the Texas Chainsaw one there.
I love that.
With like the Texas in the eye there, which is cool if you're watching.
Oh, that is cool. Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so Ben and I became friends through whiskey. I didn't know he's a whiskey guy. And he did one of the few, like there was like this cool Penelope toasted pick that he did. And he designed the artwork, and it was a play off Salem's Lot, and it had a wax, like a blood. I mean, if it had to be small, because if Michters saw the red wax dripping, he'd probably serve a cease and desist. But yeah, so it's funny how like even like, yeah, Penelope, when I think of like the horror side of things and connecting with Ben, that was one of the first like samples he had sent over and showed me the bottle, and I was like, oh, look at this, like there's like this crossover between whiskey and horror. But I really do love that small town approach, and we all have that, right? Like where the routine with your family and stopping into the store and grabbing the pizza, and it's so formative to those memories that you carry with you for the rest of your life.
Yeah, definitely. It definitely is. So yeah, definitely a good memory. And you got to appreciate what Penelope's still doing, man. They're still doing amazing things. And I think they've gotten, I mean, I look back at what they were there, right? And I mean, some of those bottles are absolutely freaking fantastic. So like now you look at even the releases they're doing now, and from a community standpoint for us, right? They're just building and building and getting better and better. So it's pretty cool. It's really good.
And just some inside baseball for fun. So when I had interviewed them, it was 2021, I think, or 2022. And I had a friend who's in the industry, and he's like, look, like Mike and Danny, those guys, smart, bright businessmen, like they're going to do big things. Mike sold a mattress company, got acquired, like they did tech. I think it was, Danny was an engineer, and seeing them put this all together. And sure enough, a few years later, you have MGP, like Lux Row, acquire them, and I'm just like, damn, like good for them, because like watching them kind of play that out is so cool. So going from like kind of like the bootstrapping New Jersey little warehouse to what they're doing now, I think it's still the important thing is like maintaining the not even just the quality, because Penelope does great stuff, but just like the integrity of what the brand represents. I think they've honored that and held true to it throughout, even with being successful and growing.
Yeah, agreed. Fun anecdote. You mentioned mattress stores. Do you guys have mattress firms up in Canada?
What's a mattress firm?
It's like a store where they sell mattresses.
Yeah, like Sleep Country.
Yeah, like all those. Right. We have an inside joke. Mattress firm is like a money laundering front. If you ever watch, there's nobody ever parked in front of the store. You never see anybody buying anything and going in. It's a whole money laundering front. It's a little joke we have.
it makes sense, because I feel like I've said the same thing myself, that like, especially now when you know like real estate or online stuff, I'm like, if you still have a mattress store, even to some degree, some furniture stores, like kind of like the run of the mill furniture, it's like, yeah, what are you really doing?
Money laundering.
Mike and Danny.
Hey, whatever works for you, just don't get caught. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Hey, like, yeah, it played out. They did well for themselves. So cheers to those guys in Penelope.
Exactly. All right, man. What's your next bottle and next story? I want to hear the next one.
So I am going with Rare Character. I'm doing Ryes tonight. So Rare Character, this is like the first Rye release they did, like the batched limited releases. And what's cool is, so there's this is kind of twofold in why this bottle means something to me. But in behind me here, I have an empty bottle, and it's a Nulu pick. And on the back, it's fun. It's like a cinnamon bun, like a pour over. So Whiskey Mutant Eric Smith, my good friend, he did this pick with Chad Watson. So Chad is in my daily bourbon. He's the blender essentially, and coordinates all the single barrels for Rare Character now. But at the time, he was working for Total Wine, so he helped kind of put this together. So it's like a Total Wine pick. So like the first part that's cool is seeing a friend in the community like grow, because you want to see people be successful. So he got picked up by Rare Character. He coordinated their single barrel program, because everyone knows like Rare Characters, like all the unique art. But this was the very first like batched release where he got to flex some of his skills. So I was like, it was like proud friend moment where I was like, I'm here for it. Even if it was okay, I'd probably be really excited. But it happens to be phenomenal. Like just like probably one of my favorite ryes. I have a backup now. So here's the story of the backup. Growing up, I'm a huge music person. I love going to concerts. That's why me and my wife kind of connected, is music and going to shows. And there's a band, Under Oath. I'm not sure if you're familiar, but the emo days, love Under Oath. So I start talking with Chris, who plays in Under Oath, because he scores movies, like a lot of horror movies as well. So I did an Instagram live with him years ago. We kept in touch, and it was kind of cool. Like, okay, like I love Under Oath. I get to chat with Chris. So finally, years talk about meeting in person, back and forth. He's like, hey dude, like we're in Toronto. Are you coming to the show tomorrow? And I would have tickets to Under Oath, and I guess I missed it. And I was like, nah, man. And I just checked, like they're sold out. And he goes, don't worry, like I'm going to put you with a +1 on the list. So I'm ecstatic, like cool. Like that in itself, like, wow, like I get to go to see Under Oath, and Chris in the band is giving me tickets. So, as a gesture, because I know he's into whiskey, I said, okay, can I meet you before the show? I have a little something for you. So I brought a bottle of Weller Antique. I think I told you before, up in Canada, we were getting them dime a dozen. Not so much anymore with where everything's at. But I grabbed the bottle of Weller Antique. I know it's a little bit harder for him to get. And my wife, little side note, loved Under Oath way more than me growing up. So she would hate that I'm even saying this, but she was like the one where like the drummer and singer Aaron, like she had like a poster on her wall of like him, and that was kind of her crush and like music crush or whatever. So she's like, look, this is really cool. I'm glad we're going to the show, but she's like, you better play it cool. Like hand the bottle off, shake hands, and then we're gonna go in and we're gonna have a good night. Like that's it. And I was like, yeah, okay, because I'm chatty, right? So I'm like, okay, I'm gonna hand it off. I'm listening to the thing. So I'm texting Chris now, and he's like, okay, come out back where the buses are. I'll meet you out there. And so I go up, and it's nice because Chris walks out, gives me a big hug, and he's like, dude, it's so good to like meet you in person. And like that's like the beauty of like what we were talking about, finally like meeting someone in person. Like I'd give you a giant hug too. And he's like, hey, it's free, because it was December of 2024. So he's like, come on the bus, like let's have a drink. And he's going to my wife, he's like, you don't drink, do you want coffee, do you want like really nice tour bus? And I could tell my wife's like, what the fuck are we doing right now? Like now we're just on Under Oath's tour bus.
She wasn't geeking out or like losing her mind.
Like Mal is very composed, but I could tell she's like inside. She's like, what the hell is going on? Like
she's like, holy shit.
So I guess like for me, like because Chris was my contact, like it was fun. Like we poured Russell's, I think like a Russell's
nice
store pick or something, and
fantastic.
They had some stuff on the bus, so we're chatting, and then like the doors open and someone else walks in, and it's the drummer and singer Aaron, like my wife's crush growing up. And Chris is like, "Oh, Aaron, yeah, like, you know who this is, right?" And then Aaron's like, "Yo, it's fucking Whiskey Morgue."
Dude, how fucking cool is that? Did you just like heavens open?
I was like,
holy
if I ever impress my wife ever, it was this night. And I could tell now, like, it was like a big deal for my wife, but she's still like playing it really cool. But they're awesome. And then they were talking about how they were in Kentucky for a show, and they were hanging out with like people in the community, Tyler, Jason, like average bourbon guy, Jason,
Yep.
and like, so like a whole bunch of cool people, and they were hanging out with Chad, and I guess Chad had given them a whole bunch of bottles to try and whatever. So I came with a gift, and as we were hanging out, also Aaron poured me the Brook Hill Buttercream Dream, which was like hazmat Heaven Hill,
nice
short barrel, like amazing. And then at the end, he pulls out this bottle and was like, "Hey, take this home. I want to give this to you." And I'm like, "Dude, like, you guys are the ones who got me tickets to the show. You've been nothing but kind, having me even just hang out on the bus for a bit." Like, I was like, I don't want the bottle. And he's like, "Fucking take the bottle and go." And like, just thinking about, like, if you told childhood me that whiskey would bring me together with like a band I grew up listening to, and like being able to share pours and stories on the bus, like it was a real like pinch me moment. And even to this day, like when me and my wife talk about it, we're like that really happened. Like that was because then you go out and then you see human beings, right? And it's cool because like it's human beings who just want to, like Aaron and Chris just want to have a glass of whiskey and chat, but then you see like the rock star persona on stage, and that's like this whole other thing. So it's kind of cool leaving. I had to go to my car, drop off the bottle, and then go into the venue and watch the show. And it was just really cool. So yeah, it was like this 2-tiered thing where this super proud friend moment for Chad and his success, and him being able to show his blending prowess and his skills, and then seeing it come full circle with like a childhood band that I grew up listening to is just like, yeah, you can't write that stuff.
That's pretty cool. Didn't you have Chris on your podcast?
I did. Yeah.
Okay. And that I remember because I listened to it at the beach when I was like an old man. I listened to it when I was walking at the beach in the mornings. I was listening to that podcast. So, and that's when you got me introduced. So okay. So for those of you that don't know, go back and listen to Mike's podcast with Chris from Under Oath. You also got me introduced to Under Oath at that time. I had no idea who the hell they were at that time. You also got me introduced to Bad Omens as well. So I kudos you for that too. So I like you, I have like a diverse like music. Like, you pull my Spotify up, it's everything.
Yeah.
And I really have gotten back into like metal and every genre of metal now, because it's so many different diverse genres that exist nowadays. And so like I that's what I like about Instagram too, is when everyone puts songs with whatever they're posting, I get to get introduced to new things. So like,
yes,
my wife had actually gone to a class reunion in Austin, and at Stubbs, Bad Omens was playing, and they were staying at the hotel across the street. I had gone to Stubbs 10 years, 12 years before that. And oh my gosh, I'm gonna forget who the band name is. Okay, I'm gonna have to figure it out now. There's a band playing outside at the same venue when we were eating barbecue inside. I can sing the song for you, but I'm not gonna ruin anybody's ears tonight. But anyway, so I'll have to look it up as we're talking. But anyway,
when we end the episode, I'm gonna make you sing.
Yeah, that's fun. We should. Yeah, I'll put it in the B-roll.
So that's Patreon style content, right there.
Yeah. Oh, geez, I need a Patreon now. So it's pretty cool that like she introduced me to one of the songs when her brother came back. She's like, yeah, they were playing the song. I was like, oh, I like this. And then just like I listened to that every once in a while, and I never kind of went into it. And then you posted some content a while back with like a harder song, and I was like, oh, what is this? I really like this. So then I started going down the Bad Omens rabbit hole too, and like really love them now. So no, it's this is why I love this.
It's funny. I remember it was the Wednesday Addams pairing where it's like melodic at the beginning and it drops hard. Yeah.
Yes.
I forget. I'm trying to remember what song it was. Like one of their. Well, it's not recent now because I guess it's been a few months, but like one of the singles that they put out. But
it's so good.
but that's what I'm saying, like this like intersection of things you love, like whether it's horror or music, all these things come together. And what's cool about, I guess, like to add on to like having drinks with Under Oath and whatnot is like they're successful musicians. And, you know, for me growing up, that was an integral part. I think about like listening to their album in like some of the weirdest times of my life or hardest times of my life. And it like that exists in its own world. But then like Chris, aside from me, is like, he's a family man. He's married. He has 3 kids. He wants to drink some whiskey and talk about his day and, you know, something that happened. Right. And I think that's what's cool too, is like opening up those avenues in kind of what I do. Cause like, yeah, like, you know, maybe 15-year-old Mike wants to like nerd out and talk about song lyrics. But then it's someone where you can just kind of find that overlap and connection.
Yeah.
And the other day we were texting each other and talking about the Spawn soundtrack of all things and how amazing. So if you're listening and it rings a bell, the movie Spawn came out in the late 90s. Go back to that soundtrack. You probably don't remember it, but like there was
bangers
epic
on that soundtrack, wasn't there?
So yeah, and the whole concept was that they were making people collaborate.
Okay.
So there was all these like weird collaborations or like remixes, and yeah, there's so many good songs on there.
I'm gonna pull it up because I think I had that soundtrack, and now you got me like wondering, wasn't one of them I want to guess, but wasn't there, hold on, before I even look, wasn't there like a shit, no, I'm not gonna remember it. No, hold on. Oh, Filter and Crystal Method. I remember that one. Marilyn Manson and Sneaker Pimps. Yeah, I remember that one. Korn and the Dust Brothers, Butthole Surfers and Moby, Stabbing Westward and Wink.
My favorite that Chris mentioned was the Silver Chair, because it was like
oh yeah,
it was like I guess like it's not labeled that way, but it was like a kind of almost like a alternative version of one of their other songs.
Yeah.
And they kind of, I guess, like tried it in this collaboration first that ended up on like Freak Show. But
man, Soul Coughing as well. I mean, for crying out loud. All right, this has got to get added to the need to listen to this now list when I'm done with this. I forgot about, I had this CD, dude. I had this CD. I remember this.
I was looking at, I was going to go grab, like, I mean, I probably will. The vinyl's online.
Oh shit.
I'm like,
really?
that one, I'm like, cause I have my record collection set up upstairs. I'm like, I will definitely sit down with that. But yeah, it was funny because I did in Search of Darkness, they talked about soundtracks. So I did my bit, and then I get a message from Chris and he's like, yo, by the way, Spawn soundtrack. And I was like, boom, I forgot about that. And like, I remember it was a Saturday that he messaged, and I was like cleaning the house all day, just listening to the Spawn soundtrack.
Dude, dude, I forgot about this soundtrack too. It's crazy that you mentioned that. I haven't seen this or thought about this in forever. Man, that's crazy. Fun Silver Chair fact, man. When Frog Stomp came out, could not find that damn CD. I drove around all of Western Massachusetts trying to find that CD. I found the last copy in a freaking store in Northampton, Massachusetts, and bought Frog Stomp. I would never forget when that damn CD came out, man. I've never, ever.
That's so cool. I like that. Even just somehow in this, we got to, I love stories like that. Cause like, I mean, we eat up nostalgia, but like that album, like to find the CD, but you know what? Like, think about that for a second. Like, you wanted to own that piece of media. You could, like, now we're spoiled, right? It comes out, you go on your phone, you stream it, but you were like, yo, I need to find that album. And you're driving around to different stores. Yep. Incredible. Yep. It's such a different time. And that album would like sit in your Discman or whatever, your CD player, your big bulky CD player in your room. And you would just play that start to finish. And yeah, so cool.
I had the 3 CD changer with the little top mouse. To split the thing up and put the 3 CDs in. I had the whole CD case. So as I'm driving on the road with a knee driving the steering wheel, I'm digging through the CD case. Trying to find the next one to load in. All the fun stuff, man. All the good memories. You mentioned posters on your wall, music posters. What did you have growing up as a kid? What do you remember? What posters you had?
Yeah. Limp Bizkit.
Okay. Yo, hey, listen.
Yeah. And it was cool because I saw them for the first time last year.
How was it?
And incredible. You know what? Like, they opened for Metallica. And it was an incredible show, but like I forgot, like, again, tapping into like memories. Like, so like now I'm like, oh, Limp Bizkit. My wife's like, I've been to a million shows with you. I've never seen you sing every single song word for word. I was white man rapping so hard. and being in front of like Wes Borland, like my love for like weird freakish stuff, like he has this whole like skull get up.
Yep.
And I was fortunate that I was like in the snake pit in like the center stage. So I purposely right away went to like Wes Borland's amp. I saw it and I was like, before they came out, I'm like, I'm parking right here. And just watching him in front of me was like, man, like I remember for a grade 7 music project, I painted my face like Wes Borland. Probably had my teachers concerned. I don't know if my parents got a letter home, but yeah, so it was them, like, well, full circle. Metallica was a big one. The Mars Volta in high school. I love the Mars Volta. It's kind of like a little bit of like an oddball deeper cut. Yeah, but I got into like a lot of the, I had like Guitar World magazines.
Okay. Yeah.
So I kind of like took all my favorite guitarists and would just cut out. So like I had a few posters, but it was more like I had like a Guitar World wall of, you know, you had classics like Hendrix or Van Halen, Kirk Hammett from Metallica, but then I had like a lot of newer stuff too, and especially late 90s, early aughts, like new metal. How about you? Is there a couple that you remember?
I had Rage Against the Machine, the one where the live one that's all black and white. And,
nice.
And I think he's jumping up in the air. I had that on my ceiling. That was one of my ceiling ones.
Ceiling posters.
Oh
yes.
yeah. I had Pearl Jam, the Alive album. I had that one in there. I had a Garbage one with Shirley. I was a big Shirley Manson fan. I thought Shirley Manson was a hottie back in the day. So the one where she's,
I don't blame you.
They're like on the Hollywood Star Walk, and it's her like kneeling down or like down by the star, and then the whole band's behind her. I had that one. Shit, I'm trying to remember some of the other ones too, but I had one more that I'm trying to remember off the top of my head, and I can't remember. It wasn't Nirvana. It wasn't Soundgarden. I'm trying to think of the band, but I can't remember off the top of my head. So my favorite was that I was always I liked Garbage growing up a lot.
Yeah.
So having that one, and obviously the crush on Shirley. So I had that. And the Rage one was just the coolest. That was like, I had not, I remember even to this day, like I still had never seen that poster very much ever. I don't know how I ended up getting it or where I got it or whatever. Yeah. But yeah, I had the ceiling posters as well. I had the wall posters. So it was fun, man.
Yeah. When I think of like my Guitar Hero wall, Tom Morello is obviously in there. And then Mike from Incubus. I loved early Incubus stuff. I like, it's funny because I think there was like a stark contrast between like classic shredders and like what got me into it. But then I found like all the newer at the time, like guitarists that I was into were all people who did really cool, weird stuff with their guitar. Like I always admired that Wes Borland and Mike from Incubus could sound like there's multiple guitars in the band just with like weird effects. Tom Morello, I mean, like this guy is DJing on his guitar, like he's record scratching. So yeah, I loved that shift into like this new era of guitar playing.
Yeah, that's dope. What's your favorite concert? Do you have one that's hard? Is that hard? It's like saying your favorite music. Is it difficult?
You know what? Like, yeah, that would be the hardest question, but I would say it'd have to be the last one that the Limp Bizkit, not just because it's convenient, but the Limp Bizkit Metallica. Both bands I love growing up. First time seeing Limp Bizkit, like 6 times seeing Metallica. So it was like still cool to see them. But like growing up, I watched all the documentaries. Like Metallica was my favorite band, and the idea of being in the snake pit to watch them, never mind Limp Bizkit opening, was like far fetched. And I got to go because of, guess what, whiskey. And there was like, just for the sake of time, when we're done recording here, I'll share with you. But like, I got invited and to go and I got like guest tickets of Metallica. Got to go center stage and in the middle of the snake pit. And I was just like, again, how am I like, it's just like this huge imposter. Like, how am I even pulling this off? Like, like what the hell is going on? But it's like, don't get me wrong. It was an incredible concert. Limp Bizkit, man, like they were good. Like if I turn like I've maybe because I've seen Metallica a few times, they still put on an incredible show. But like Limp Bizkit could have the house lights on and like no production, and Fred Durst could just have like the crowd in the palm of his hands. And that was really cool to kind of just to see live. So yeah, but probably like, even though there's a ton, and I could probably, when we're done and we're drinking some more, I can go into like some other really cool, rare shows or seeing bands play together. But yeah, in terms of like kind of like this, again, another like pinch me moment.
Yeah.
That one was super, super memorable.
That's dope. That's really cool, man. I love that stuff.
Do you have one?
I've got two. I got a tie. One of mine is 30 Seconds to Mars. I got to see them at the Tabernacle in Atlanta, this tiny ass venue, me being 6 rows back on the floor from freaking Jared Leto. I mean, come on, man. And that whole entire band, like that night was just in freaking sane. Like I look back at now, like what they play, and this was when they were big too. I don't even know why they were doing this tour in these small venues.
Okay, let me tell you something.
Dude.
I opened up for them once.
No shit. Did you really?
But like when I say opened up, let me explain this a bit more. There's I don't know if in the States they have like Palladium. It was like a arcade. It was like a arcade go-kart outside,
Okay.
like and they were just kind of getting their footing. Like I think they put out an EP or their first album. But like you said, they were doing these like small shows. So like the whole thing is the promoter who we were working with was like, okay, they're gonna play outside at Palladium, like an outdoor stage at a concert, but we want to start it off at like 2:00 and they're gonna go on at like 7.
Okay.
So I played at like 2:30. But I got to stick around and watch the show. But like that was like the one cool moment. But like, yeah, they were playing, when you think about it, because like Jared Leto was still big at that time. Like my mom knew who Jared Leto was just because of acting. So she's like, oh my God, like you're playing a show with that guy from what's the show that he was on?
Yeah.
I want to say Party of Five, but
yeah. I think it was one of those kind of shows. Yeah.
It might have been Party of Five, but yeah, and just to see what he would become and what the band would become, and I mean, that album, like the first album, is so good.
Oh, it's so good.
Even now, I still put that on and just, yeah,
it's fantastic. Yeah, I mean, we saw them when they released. I'm trying to look at their album list right now to make sure that I have it right. These are singles. Hold on, what are their albums? I'm gonna look at their albums really quick. I mean, like you said, like there was so many things that they released. This was the Love, Lust, Faith, and Dreams album. So 2013. So we saw them in like 2013, 2014, after This Is War, Beautiful Lie. Like all those albums were already out. Like I saw them then, dude. That's how crazy, like to see them in that venue after.
But I'm surprised they were even like at that, because okay, like
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, because that point, that first album took off. So I'm surprised they still played a smaller venue like that, insane. Because like I thought that's when they exploded, and then they were playing.
Yep,
all the bigger ones. Yeah,
because
A Beautiful Lie was the album, I guess, that I had seen them.
Okay.
Yeah, it was 2005 or 2006.
Okay, yep.
Which would make sense. Yeah, because that was my last year of high school, and I'm just gonna keep dating and aging myself. But yeah,
that's cool. Yeah, my other one's one with my daughter. I went to go see a band that she loves called Lovejoy. I have never seen an audience or like a crowd that was that amped up with a bunch of 16 to 20-year-olds in Boston at this small venue, dude. It was dope. Everybody singing from the very beginning, not missing a beat. I mean, it's probably one of the best concert experiences I've ever had. And I loved like the band. They actually were cool. I found a new band, Spilly Cave, out of that too, dude. I love Spilly Cave.
Opener?
So, like, yeah, Opener, dude. Friggin' love Spilly Cave. So
I just pulled up Lovejoy's artwork. And I'm like, yo, give me a ghost. I haven't even listened to them. But you know what's cool is that I go and check out a lot of like small shows still, like bands who still play like your venues. So I think it's cool to hear that your daughter's like still checking out like there still exists that, like, because I feel like even with my niece, everything I hear is just like the big band and it's a stadium. And I was like, do you guys go to like little shows or like, you know, that like little, like even let's say little, like 1,000-person venue, 500-person venue. So yeah, I just added Lovejoy. We're just here building playlists for, yeah, I'll definitely check out Lovejoy.
They're it's very teenagey. It's not, it's rock, but their early stuff's better than their newer stuff. I like their earlier stuff better. But the thing I took out of that was Spilly Cave. Like there's a Spilly Cave album they released. I literally listened to it front and back. My wife and I joke it's a vibe. It's our summer vibe. It's our beach vibe. I freaking love it. It's amazing. It's amazing.
That's why I always have to be there for the opener.
Yeah, agreed.
I lie every time. I tell my wife, I'm like, this time let's just go for dinner and then we'll get there right when the band comes on. And she's like, you're full of shit. And I'm like power eating our meal and I'm like, hey, let's go. And I'll say it's to get in the merch line, but I found so many cool bands being there for the opening act that you end up taking with you. And like, now that's like you and your wife, and that's like your summer vibe. And that's cool that it came from just being a little bit earlier at a show. I think that's awesome.
Yeah, that's how you discover it. That's why they're all there, man. That's the cool shit about it. So
I've taken us on this musical tangent.
I love it though, man. I love music, dude. I love this shit. It's fun.
Hopefully I got you so into it that you're going to open up this next sentimental bottle. I'm joking.
You're going to laugh at it. All right. So this next bottle, this is what got me into everything. And there's more than just the bottle itself. It was the community that sucked me in with it. So I had started drinking whiskey a while before I literally jumped back into it. So I was drinking old school Old Crow when I first got into whiskey because I didn't have a lot of money. Stopped drinking whiskey for a while, and then I moved into our house back in 2019, I think it was. And I was doing something. Oh, I went to go buy Eagle Rare at Total Wine. And I walked in and I'm looking for it because I had moved to Eagle Rare back in the day. And I walked in looking for it and I said, hey, you guys have Eagle Rare? The Total Wine clerk laughed at me. He laughed at me and says, dude, Eagle Rare? He's like, you're not going to find that on the shelf. That's so highly allocated. He's like, good luck finding it. So I was like a little confused about that. I don't remember what I ended up buying. So I ended up coming home and I remember I ended up like doing some research on online and found YouTube and found Bourbon Junkies. So then started watching Bourbon Junkies, started to get into everything. And then I started like looking for things. So one day I ended up finding at a liquor store Eagle Rare and E.H. Taylor small batch. So I ended up buying like 2 bottles of each and was like, okay, this is awesome. I was posting that content on Twitter at the time, and one of my friends that I had on Twitter that we were both following the Braves reached out to me and said, hey, are you into bourbon, these kind of things? So I'm like, yeah, it's, just getting back into it. It's kind of cool. He's like, all right. He's like, why don't you meet me for lunch one day? I live in town, kind of close to you. He's like, we'll meet for sushi. He's like, is it cool if one of my friends come? And I'm like, yeah, sure. That'd be dope. So we ended up meeting for lunch and connecting. And his friend brought me a sample of a version of the bottle that I have next. So I was very that was very thoughtful of him, right? When I learned what it was and how limited that version of that was, I was like, hey, for you to even give me, I think it was an ounce or a 2 ounce pour or something like that for a person I had never met before, not even the person I was talking to, I was like, that's pretty dope. So fast forward a little bit as we started building our relationship together, building our friendship, still friends today. A few months later, I remember I still had not bought a bottle. I could not find a bottle. It was hard to find. And then they were all coming over to drink at my house and come hang out like we've done quite a few times. And my buddy's like, I got a surprise for you when I come over. And I'm like, what do you mean a surprise? I didn't ask for anything. What'd you get me? He's like, I'll show you when I get there. So we all get there. He comes in, right? We all sit down and I'm like, we're all drinking. And he's like, do you want your surprise? And I'm like, oh shit, I completely forgot about it. I'm like,
your inner child.
I want my surprise. So my wife's sitting at a table, his wife's sitting at the table, best friend's sitting at the table. So there's 5 of us sitting around and he reaches down beside him in the bag. Right. And here, I'll even, oh God, I think I made it done. He goes and he's like, here you go, buddy. I got you this for you. And I was like, oh my God, there's a picture of me doing this to the bottle of Blanton's in the thing. So it's funny. It's the classic tater bottle, right? But if I reflect back on it, so the bottle, the sample that I got was Blanton's Gold. So my buddy, guy I've never met before, who they're like, hey, come meet this guy, gives me a sample of Blanton's Gold. So it's funny when I was sitting there looking on the shelf and I was like, all right, what bottles were really impactful? If I think about this, right? If I had never posted that picture if the Total Wine guy never told me to go pound sand, if I never went and found Bourbon Junkies, if I never went and looked for those Eagle Rares and got those, never posted them on Twitter, I may not have met any of those people, right? So
Wow.
if I think about then I learned community from those two individuals.
Yeah.
We hung out at each other's houses. It was, here's an Eagle Rare 17 here. Try these ridiculous art bags. Try this, try this. And like the community aspect of just sharing, connecting with each other and doing all of that. Like this, as tater as this bottle is, and we all joke about it. Like I literally, like, this is an impactful bottle for me. Like, I don't know if I would be doing this today now here with you if little things like that didn't happen back in the day. So gotta go with a bottle of Blanton's.
Yeah, because like you said, it is like the quintessential tater bottle, but I love how it holds different meaning because of how things played out. And because like it's true at the time. And if we think about like when all this took off and you couldn't find a bottle of Blanton's anywhere, to receive something like that as a gift, like the gesture, and like you said, like they brought a Blanton's Gold for you to try out. And just because you kind of like delve deeper into like looking online and in the community, that bottle holds so much more meaning because of it. And to be honest, like, yeah, you know what, as like being snobby and having whiskey, I'm like, yeah, like, okay, Blanton's, like regular Blanton's, whatever. But I've seen on my end where I have like my collection and everything's open. I've had people come over and they're like, whoa, wait, is that Blanton's Gold? Is that Blanton's? I'm like, let's pour some right now. Let's just like, and they're like, what? People need to experience that for the first time. And I think like that was a big aspect for me in the community, was just like to share, but then also you get to like demystify things. And that's nice. Cause like I said, like I'm sure you've had Blanton's many times now, but that bottle you're hanging on to, and it's sealed because it just means that much more. And it's special to you. Not because it's Tater Blanton's, because you've had it, you've tried it. But just what that represents in immersing you in the community. I think that's really special. I won't cry. I swear, I'm just sick right now. So
yeah, the dump date on this is 2021, for crying out loud. That's how long that bottle's been sitting around.
That was my next question, is what's the dump date?
Yeah. I mean, if I ever found one for retail,
like, it's my birthday.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, 7/26/2021. Barrelhouse H, Warehouse H, Rick number 7. So yeah, it's pretty cool. Could I drink it? Yes, but like you said, I'll open it eventually. Like if somebody came over and was like, "Holy shit, you have Blanton's," I'll be like, "Crack it, let's go, let's have a good day." Because that then for me, that returns the favor to somebody else the same way that they did it for me, right? And much like you, any bottle you come in and like, "Oh, I want to try that," like, cool. Like, let's open it and crack and have a good time with it. So.
Although right now, this is where my wife would make fun of me, because most of my friends who appreciate what I have are online. My neighbor comes by and I'm thinking like someone's going to come in, their eyes are going to light up when they see a wall of whiskey. And like, I'm like, try whatever. And they're like, wow, that's really cool. So like, do you have any vodka? And I'm like, yeah, just underneath the cupboard over there. I have a few bottles of vodka and gin or whatever else you need. But yeah, people are always mesmerized by how much whiskey there is. But then past that, like, I'm telling you, I have a couple of good friends who've come by and got to enjoy it, like the one person with the Blanton's. But that I want those moments so bad, because like, and I've got to do it online too, where it's like, you know, I think it might have been Blanton's. I might be mistaken, but like with Chris there from Under Oath, one of the reels that I posted not too long ago, he was saying that like, I guess he held on to the sample that I sent, and him and his brother went to go watch The Shining, which is their favorite movie together. And it got brought back in theater. They went and watched it together. And right at the bartender moment, when Jack's sitting at the bar and he's getting served, he pulled out the sample and split it between the cool. two of them. And I'm like, yeah, it's just stuff like that. Like you just want to share and create those moments for people, right? Where you can just enjoy something. And it's even better that it's a tater bottle, because because it doesn't mean the same thing, right? It's just like, yeah, you have people who are just, hunting it but I think like it really is, speaks volumes about why you got in the community, which is really cool.
Yep. Yeah, it really does. It's pretty cool. And I have to say, like, I'm super gracious, super thankful that I've had the experience to be able to do this. I got introduced to this stuff, got to meet cool people like you, get to have the ability to, the platform to be able to connect with people and hopefully create more of this connection between me and you with others that listen and watch us as well. So cheers to community and connections through bottles and everything that we drink on a daily basis, for sure.
And that is the thread through this whole thing, is that really that's what it's about. So cheers, Jason. I'm gonna have
cheers, man. Cheers. Well, this is fun as hell, man.
I always love where it goes, and I think like it kind of speaks to like where we're at with as friends and whatnot too, because like, yeah, I want to drink whiskey. I will talk whiskey all day, but getting into music posters on our wall.
I'm down. Yeah. I'm down.
Someone out there, even if it's one person, they're going to go on Spotify and look up the Spawn soundtrack.
Yes.
And they're going to be like, damn, yeah, that exists.
I'm gonna have to listen to it tomorrow because I have a whole afternoon where I just have to work and I just play music. And so I'm gonna have to listen to it tomorrow. And I guarantee you there's one song in my freaking head that I cannot figure out what the hell it is right now. I'm gonna hear it. I'm gonna text you tomorrow and be like, it was this one. I'm telling you, I had the damn CD. Like, and I remember there was like 2 or 3 songs I used to play all the damn time off that CD. And I appreciate you like for even mentioning that, because I had not thought about that CD in freaking years, dude.
Yeah,
that's so crazy.
And it all just stems from people drinking whiskey and sharing things. Like for me, whether it's like the album I'm going to listen to, or someone mentioning a movie that I don't know what I'm going to discover, or it's something I haven't revisited in a while, like that's the stuff right there. Like more than ever, to kind of bring it home, it's like I'm fortunate. I'm sure you are too. Like we can show our liquor collections and be like, oh, we have like really nice bottles, and we've acquired these things over time. But like these stories, like when we decided to do this episode, I was staring at my wall and looked past a lot of like really like allocated bottles, and I'm just like, okay, I have this and that, but like that's cool, but like there's no real sentiment behind it. And for you, like a Penelope Toasted, or like your standard Blanton's just holds that meaning. And I think that's why we do what we do, and why you do this podcast, because it's not enough to just post a bottle and drink something, but more connect and talk with people and kind of find those parallels in the community.
Yep. Yeah. This is my, like, this is my medicine, to be honest with you. Like I went to Chick-fil-A tonight for my kids' track thing tonight. They did sponsorship. I was like, gotta be home by 7. Got set up for Mike. I'm like, first time set up in the studio. Like I was excited. Like, and even Liz knows, like my wife knows how much I freaking love this stuff. So yeah. This is literally my medicine. It's my favorite thing. It's my creative outlet, and I love doing it for sure.
And Jason, one last thing. I don't think anybody, unless they try to set it up now, but if you're watching the video version, Jason has a red light in the background that goes perfectly into the Dram Amateur ring. And I have like a yellow orange background that also plays into that side of the color spectrum. So I don't think we've ever got anything more on brand in completing the circle of whiskey for Dram Amateur than this one right here. Just setting the bar real high.
Agreed. You're gonna be on a lot more this year then. All right, man. Before
aesthetic.
Agreed. Before we close it out, what do you got coming up? Like tease something for everybody.
More episodes, fun episodes. Like I said, if there's one bit I'll put out here, because it's gonna happen soon. Really cool horror movie coming out called Undertone. Right now the buzz is that it's like the scariest movie of the year.
Oh,
the director happens to be 40 minutes away from me. We've connected. He likes whiskey. He can't get it right now, bourbon anyway. So I've sent him some of that. A24 picked up the movie, and now it's at Sundance. He just got back from Sundance, and it's like it's gonna be like the horror movie
Wow.
And as far as I know, it's first podcast episode, and the film is about someone who has a podcast.
No way.
And weird voices, frequencies start coming.
I saw the freaking preview for that.
Yeah.
Yes. I saw the preview for that. I think I put it on one of my stories, and I was like, holy shit, I did see the preview for that.
Yeah. And it's one of those where it gave me goosebumps like watching it. It's subtle. I love subtle. I love like less is more.
Yep.
And it's nice because I feel like I'm immersed in so much horror that like you become desensitized. And I watched that trailer and I was like, oh fuck. Like I'm kind of scared. I'm kind of scared a bit. And I got goosebumps watching it. But yeah. Like that one I'm super excited for. The chat with Chad. And there's a whole bunch of other episodes coming. But yeah, that's what I have in the works. I want to do more short form content. So if you're on YouTube, Whiskey Morgue, the podcast is there in video format. I'm trying to put out more shorter form stuff like you saw with the In Search of Darkness review. And other than that, I'm always posting on Instagram and doing my thing, doing my pairings. And now I kind of look at it as I guess kind of like my exercise and my creative outlet. And then from there, things will either blossom into a discussion online in podcast format or become short video format of some sort.
Yep. No, that's cool, man. Congrats. I am so looking forward to that freaking episode now, because I was intrigued by what you're talking about the movie. And then when you said the podcast, I'm like, I remember seeing it and reposting it. So I am totally looking forward to that, and keep doing you, dude. I love the space you're in. Mad respect. Thank you for all your help with all of this behind me. I gave you props in the episode I released last week. I was like, man, lighting.
Yeah, thank you for that, by the way.
No, thank you. I mean, you gave me a lot of things with lighting, and like even like gave me terminology that I use to go look things up. So like, I didn't know whatever the damn light that is right here in front of my face, there's a name for it. So I started doing research on it. I was like, oh shit, that's what that is. And it's supposed to be 45 degrees from your face, and it's supposed to be as close as possible. And I was like, I literally, because you use the terminology, like it made my life so much easier. So thanks for like being upfront, honest, sharing things with me, Amazon links, whatever it was, like it all worked, dude. So thank you. I like all of this could not have been done without your input. So I appreciate that,
dude. I've had to figure out some things on my own as I went. So I'm always about passing it along. That. Like I hate people who gatekeep anything, like anything. It's like one of my pet peeves. We're all trying to have fun. And I respect what you do on here, because this is my quick moment just to shout out this podcast, because like I will always accept to come on here just because it's the most authentic and genuine, and it's about people. And like, yeah, okay, we could talk about product, and I'm sure some people will be baited in by whatever you're drinking, but then you'll stay because of what Jason has to share and the people behind it or the ethos of a company. And I've been really, really enjoying learning a lot from your podcast, man. So it's always an honor to be asked to come back on here.
Thanks, man. I appreciate that. Cheers for that. I appreciate that for sure. For sure. All right, man. Well, that's going to wrap it up for this episode of the Dram Amateur Podcast. A huge thanks to Mike from Whiskey Morgue for joining the podcast, and to all of you for tuning in, sipping along, and being part of this amazing community. If you enjoyed the show, please take a moment to like, share, and leave a review. It helps me grow and reach more spirits lovers like you. You can also follow me on Instagram at Dram_amateur for updates, behind the scene content, and more. Your support means the world to me, and I can't wait to keep sharing this journey with you. Until we get to share one more pour together, cheers.
That wraps up another episode of the Dram Amateur Podcast. Thanks for being part of the community and the conversation. Until we get to share one more pour together, cheers.